Welcome back to the Forensics Detailing channel. If you've been watching the channel for a while, you'll know I like to break detailing down into 4 categories: washing, decontamination, polishing, the use of abrasives, and last stage protection. So that's your 4 categories. Today we are talking about washing, and we are going to be walking you through all of the Bilt Hamber products in the wash category, answering all of the common questions that get thrown at me and at Bilt Hamber on a daily basis about these products. And the aim of this is going to be really for you to be able to understand these products fully, how to use them, and how to get the most out of them and the best results. Okay, onto the main bulk of this video. Now, first off, this video is sponsored by Bilt Hamber, which is absolutely fantastic. Over the last 5 years, Bilt Hamber have won lots of my best of videos, which are unsponsored, you know, and they're done neutrally and done fairly. They haven't won them all, but they've won lots of them. For example, Auto Foam, best pre-wash. Auto Wheels, the bleeding fallout removers, the stuff that goes purple, best fallout remover. What else? Auto Wash come 3rd overall in the field of 20. That was picked. Still a good shampoo. We haven't done an APC. Double speed wax, that paste wax, $14.99. That seems to really perform well for a wax that is very, very affordable. They've got a great detail spray that's very affordable as well. The thing with Bilt Hamber is most of their products are very affordable, very concentrated, and lots of times you can water them down. Okay, so let's move on to what products are in this cleaning, degreasing or wash category from Bilt Hamber. Now, first thing is you need less products to clean a car than you might think. Well, I do anyway. It's personal preference comes into it. Now, Surfex HD, an all-purpose cleaner. Auto Foam and Touchless. These are pre-wash products. And then Auto Wash, this little smaller bottle down here. I think some of these are old bottles as well. They've updated their branding, by the way. So we've got 4 products there. And the good news is you only need 3, really. We'll talk about these 2 pre-washes and why there's 2 of them in a second. Now, all-purpose cleaner. John, what is an all-purpose cleaner? And specifically, what is Surfex HD? Well, an all-purpose cleaner is like a water-based degreaser used when you're cleaning a car to break down grease and grime. So it's a blend of surfactants typically, and you spray the all-purpose cleaner on. You might put it in an extractor for a wet vac system. You might spray it and brush it. You might put it in a pump foamer. You might put it in a snow foam lance, and all sorts of different ways. But you essentially soak out dirt and grime with it. You can work and agitate that with a brush, and then rinse it away, or sometimes mop it up with a microfiber cloth if you're inside the car as well, because all-purpose cleaners can be used in interior cleaning as well. So they're general purpose dirt and grime cleaners. Now I've got a bit of text from Bilt Hamber here on Surfex HD. Surfex HD can also be used as a pre-wash, and it's a capable cleaner in this way for removing oily road films, because it's a good degreaser. Its powerful degreasing ability make it perfect for underbody and chassis cleaning. At diluted concentration, it will also clean hard surfaces. At dilute concentration, it will clean hard surfaces, upholstery and carpets too. So you can use this on the inside of cars. We'll talk about concentrations in a second. Surfex HD also contains corrosion inhibitors. Okay? So it inhibits corrosion, which is an important attribute of something, especially if you're going to be using it to clean the undercarriage of your car, or cleaning ferrous components. Some caustic but more neutral, pH neutral detergents can promote corrosion in amphoretic materials. And I've seen that for myself. It can be quite a big difference. Right, Surfex HD, how do we use it? Concentration ratios, tips, things like that. First thing, test on a small scale. Yes, but I mean, I've been using it for 5 years. I don't test anymore. I understand the product. Dilute product to suit. Start at 1% through to 10% in water. Increase the concentration for heavier soiling. So that makes sense, doesn't it? Spray and or brush liberally. So agitate it with a brush if required. You know, break down the dirt, work it in. Then do not allow the product to dry. Very important. Power wash or rinse it off of the surface. So, you know, it goes in, it breaks down, it emulsifies dirt, allows the water to mix with it, and you rinse it off. That's generally how surfactants work. Now, the clever people will say, well, hold on, you can't pressure wash on the inside of your car, John, unless you're watching one of those Facebook viral videos where they snow foam the inside of a, you know, really expensive car and then pressure wash it. Don't get me started on those. So when you're using it on the inside, as with any APC, lower the concentration down. If you're using it in carpets, lower the concentration. We'll go through concentrations. Extract it from the carpet with the extractor when it's finished. If you're doing a wipe over of a dashboard, use it at a very low concentration unless there's a particular bit of heavy soiling in there. So start at around 1% or maybe 2% concentration for a dashboard wipe over. If you over concentrate it, you can get a damp microfiber cloth to wipe over that will sort of loosen it and lower the concentration, and then go over and mop it up with a towel like you would, you know, any APC. But don't use APCs on the inside of your car at high concentrations. That's a big faux pas and a big mistake that I see being made in videos, because people want to get the foaming action going because it gets the psychology going of the viewer. So they're foaming over the dashboard and working it all, and you've got a foam fest. If you do that, the chances of having residue issues are a lot higher. So use them at sensible concentrations. You know, that's my tip. Now, what are those concentrations? Can you use Surfex HD neat? Yes, but you shouldn't need to. Okay, you know, if you've got a real thick layer of grease somewhere in the engine bay, you just get a bit. You might want to use a bit of neat, but I very rarely do. In fact, I never do. So I would say the miracle concentration is at around 1 to 10, which is 1 part product to 10 parts water, which creates 11 parts. You could do 1 to 9, so that would be 100 ml of product to 900 ml of water, Surfex to water, and that's like your miracle. That gives you a litre of product for your litre sprayer. Okay, do you need to use DI or filtered water? If you've got very high standards, you can, and a big bank balance. I don't, because you're going to rinse that water off anyway with kind of, you know, no, you don't need to use filtered water with it unless, you know, with normal detergent APC mixes. 99% of the population doesn't. Now, so that 1 to 9 or 1 to 10, whatever you want, I would use for alloy wheel cleaning, alloy wheels and tyres. I would use it for engine bays because they're generally heavier grease. That's the heaviest concentration. If you're going to use it as a pre-wash on lower panels to go underneath your foam, if you like, or use it on its own as a pre-wash, I recommend about 5% PIR, and we'll talk about PIRs a bit later on. 5% PIR is about 1 to 20 or 1 to 19, whatever, roughly, as panel pre-wash, I call it. Pre-wash. So 1 to 5%. So that is closer to 10%. As a general rule, 10% PIR is very, very strong. 5% PIR is very, very strong, but it's sensible. You don't start often going above 5% PIR when you're pre-washing a car. So that would be 50 ml of product to 1 litre, which is, if we double that, would be 100 ml to 2000, which is, if you kill the noughts, 10 to 2. Oh no, I've messed up, haven't I? Oh yeah, of course, because I've got to kill 2 noughts, 1 to 20. Yeah, my maths. Okay. Now, those are the 2 ratios you will typically see me using it at all the time. Do I sometimes get lazy when I use it on the interior and grab my 1 to 10? Yes, I do. I might just have a bucket of hot water and some microfibers, and then I'll just use a tiny spritz of it on the surface of my microfiber at 1 to 10 as a lazy way of doing it. But if you're not lazy, mix it down for interiors at around 1 to 50. You know, you can go down to 1 to 100, but it's a bit weak at that concentration ratio. For interior wipe downs. Oh God. Let's just put through to 1 to 100 there, so you've got a bit of choice. Now, I've done a video on using it as an extractor to clean carpets, guys. You can use your Surfex at 1 to 10 and use less of it and then work that in. But if you want to soak out the fibres a bit more, then having more product that you can soak in might be a way to go. So, you know, personally 1 to 30 through to 1 to 50, something like that, depending on the level of soiling in carpets, is where I would probably start. You might even go a bit higher if they're really trashed. But the thing is, you need to get all of that detergent out of the carpet, and when you start over concentrating it, you're going to make the extraction harder for yourself. So start that, work your way up is a great tip. So that is Surfex and questions around concentrations. Okay, so hopefully that will give you a good idea. Now on to our pre-washes, auto foam and touchless. Now we have a spanner. Bilt Hamber have thrown a proverbial spanner in the works, because we have essentially 2 pre-wash systems, and a lot of people are asking, John, which is the best one? Which do I need? And I was asking that question as well when it came out, because you just want, a lot of people are just going to want one pre-wash, aren't you? So again, I've got some technical information from Bilt Hamber on these products, and there's some bombs in here that just were really good, because I love all this technical stuff. Now listen to this. Autofoam is a highly active, its cationic nature, positive charge on the hydrophilic end, pulls the surfactant powerfully to the surface and encourages rapid lifting of particulate and oily soils that contaminate vehicle bodywork. Rinsing should be carried out with cold water, as this ensures cleaner rinsing. The cationic is not as soluble in warm water. I love that, because I've learned something. I didn't know that. I love learning stuff about detailing. Autofoam requires a small amount of solvent to help keep the formulation homogeneous. That's a word that I think means as one, doesn't it? Like stable, you know, so it doesn't separate and stuff like that. I don't know. That's what I think it means, homogeneous. Yeah. Irrelevant at 4% PIR, but makes a difference nevertheless. Now, on to the other one. Touchless, the new pre-wash that they've released. Touchless is built around a sugar-based surfactant that is exceptionally mild. It contains no solvent and also has a very powerful static braking ability. This releases the bonds that hold the particulate road films to the vehicle and hold the dirt together. So it breaks down the little charge of dirt, and dirt does have a charge. So the way this was described to me, and I think I've used this analogy in other videos, I don't know if it's 100% correct, but I like it anyway. If you've got a brick wall with cement holding the bricks together, this Touchless dissolves the cement, and then the bricks just collapse in a little pile. So it's really good at breaking down road film that has dirt particles in it, and that film of dirt that's stuck to the paintwork, bonded, you know, charged to the paintwork. Now, both of these products exhibit huge suppression of surface tension, which ensures the road soil is fully wetted out. So, you know, that's the first thing a surfactant has to do is wet out a surface. If this does not occur, then the contact-free dirt release will never occur to any great extent. So a good surfactant has to wet out a surface. Drop 1 or 2 drops on a dead flat panel and you'll see how far they spread. Road films vary in nature, both with geographical location and with vehicle use, which kind of makes sense, doesn't it? You know, like the guys in Scandinavia are always complaining about horrible salt films on the car because it's so cold there. They're always salting the roads. We get it in certain times of the year. But imagine if you lived in other locations further in warmer climates and stuff like that, the road film that would accumulate in your car might be completely different. A car used on a motorway frequently will have a completely different film to one used in a country environment where it's probably all splattered mud. There is no one-size-fits-all product, and if possible, tests should be carried out to determine which product suits you best. So in other words, Bilt Hamber test, you know, they test a hell of a lot, spend a hell of a lot of their time testing. And they're saying that one product might perform better depending on where you live and maybe the time of year and all these sorts of things. So really, the ultimate judge is you. I like that. The use of pre-wash is absolutely vital, where the aim is to preserve a defect-free finish. Love that, because I've been saying that for a while on the channel. You know, I think it's more important to get dirt off during pre-washing than it is to worry about the buckets, how many buckets you have and stuff like that. I think pre-washing is more important. If you can shift off 95% of the dirt, imagine if you're not shifting that 95% of the dirt and you're going straight in and contacting on it, stuff like that. It's just logic, isn't it? It's basic logic. The use of an LSP to add protection on the paint system help to disguise any minor imperfections. Now, there's a trend of kind of like preserving LSPs at the expense of cleaning. Yes, there absolutely is, isn't there? So in other words, we have lots of milder options out there that don't clean as well. That's a fact, isn't it? And what they may do better is preserving the LSP more. So what Bilt Hamber is saying is that this trend of using less powerful, milder pre-washes that preserve LSP longevity, well, the negative consequence of that is that they're going to leave more of the abrasive slurry on your paintwork. And then when you go and do the contact wash on your car, all this extra dirt that hasn't been removed in the pre-wash process is going to cause more damage to your paint. So you have to ask yourself the question when you're washing your car, do you want to maintain your last stage protection product, which is easily replaced and there's millions of different options, or do you want to maintain the paintwork on your car, which is not easily replaced, is very expensive and a very intrusive process to refinish paintwork on cars, and you can only cut away the swirls so many times. So Bilt Hamber's system is all about cleaning the car properly with your pre-wash so that you do not damage your paintwork. From day one of this channel, I've never sat on the fence. And that often means I put my proverbial foot in my own mouth. But I have a favourite with these two products. My personal favourite is Touchless. I just think, in testing on my dirt simulator, as I've mentioned, the auto foam is a stronger degreaser and it's a bit quicker to react. But in real life, on knocking off road film, especially on the undercarriage of the car, this stuff is incredible. And you notice it on the alloy wheels as well, when you've got heavily cakey, you know, dirt on the alloy films. This pre-wash, a lot more of it comes off under the pressure washer for me. So my recommendation is, if you're looking to try them, if you're a current auto foam user, try Touchless next and build your own opinion, because like Bilt Hamber say, you might find auto foam outperforms it for whatever reason. Yeah, or if you've not tried either, I would go with Touchless first, and then after you've used Touchless, try the auto foam. Let me know which one you think is more effective. The auto foam's £2 cheaper. Both products are pretty affordable. Right, that's Surfex, that's the pre-washes, and then we're going to move on to the third main detergent you're going to use, and that is the auto wash, which is the contact wash shampoo that you put in your bucket. Okay, we're moving on to the contact wash product, the auto wash. Now, I'm reading some information again here, guys, because it's clever stuff and I love it. Now, auto wash. Contact washing requires a surfactant and additive that are both lubricating and capable of dirt encapsulation. It's interesting. The tiny micelles It's one of those words again. I've got another word that I don't understand. I've heard that word before. I can't remember what it is. Micelles, I think. Let's say the tiny things, the tiny micelles formed by auto wash surround dirt particles and allow them to flow more freely during the wash process. So it's kind of encapsulating the dirt there, I think. The 2000:1 concentration, so it's a very highly concentrated shampoo, ensures high value. So in other words, its cost per wash is cheap. I think it's around about 10p, something like that, where the market average is around 30. While the corrosion inhibitors work to help prevent flash corrosion of bare steel found in car structures. This product is free rinsing and reduces hard water marks. Interesting. I didn't know that either. Now, it's actually pH neutral. Well, no, it says its pH is actually neutral. It contains no sodium chloride that is often used in conjunction with associative thickener in detergent formulations. But these are, of course, corrosion forming. So there we go. Now we've got one more bombshell to throw at you on contact washing with auto wash. Imagine you've got the auto wash solution in two different buckets and you're using one bucket for one half of the car and the other bucket for the other half. Now one bucket, you get the pressure washer in there and you blast it up and you create a ton of suds. The other bucket, you don't create any suds. Now, when you're using the bucket and mitt with all the suds on one half, psychologically, with all that foam going on, you'll feel like the product is working better. And a shampoo that doesn't sud up might not be working that well. Well, this will sud up, by the way. If you want it to sud up and you want thick foam, you can do that with this particular product. But here's the bombshell. If you use the same solution, but you don't blast it up to create all the foam, you just dip your mitt in it and clean the other side, and you get hardly any suds. You know, you might get the odd one because you agitate it a little bit. There is no difference because it's the encapsulation of the dirt with the liquid, the product doing the encapsulation and the lubrication. It's not the bubbles that are formed through like blasting it up that do that. And I think we've talked about this before on the channel, but I am as guilty as anyone of loving thick foam every now and then. But it's definitely psychological. Will I be able to just use a bucket that's flat with no suds going forward? I might try it, because the results are results, but it's like taking a leap of faith. But I thought that was an interesting detailing grenade to wob at you. And there are some people out there that are going to get very upset about this discussion around suds because they can't talk about detailing and cleaning cars without getting angry. But that I just find interesting. And we're all guilty of that one. So there's the grenade. Next up, the subject of panel impact ratios. Now, we've just talked about calculating ratios for Surfex HD in the pump sprayer, etc. But when you use a snow foam lance, as well as mixing down your ratio in your flask, you are pumping through lots of water which sucks up the liquid and mixes it with the water again. And then that comes out the lance and hits your car. And the concentration percentage of product as a percentage to water is the panel impact ratio. Bilt Hamber recommend the Touchless product. You can use it up to 5% for heavily soiled vehicles. And I believe Autofoam is recommended up to 4% for heavily soiled vehicles. Close enough. But that's what I think it says on the bottles. Now, calculating PIR. The instructions are on the new product on how to do it, but let's just run through it. Fill the detergent bottle or reservoir up to capacity with plain water. To the capacity, the maximum capacity you're going to use on here. So I'd have like 700 ml up to the scale on this lance. Turn the detergent feed to full. Take a large bucket or container and discharge the lance into this, emptying the detergent bottle till all the liquid has gone out of this thing, okay? Once empty, stop, which makes sense. The following calculations will achieve 4% dilution. Measure the total amount of collected liquid in your bucket So it's good if you've got a scale on your bucket. If not, you're going to be fishing it out with like the old Pyrex measuring dish that you've nicked from the missus. Measure that amount and multiply this number by 0.04 to give you 4% dilution. Okay? Total can be measured in either volume with a measuring jug or by weight. Yeah. This is the amount of Touchless to use. So that will give you 4%, but you can use it up to 5%, I believe. So close enough. Step 3, add the calculated amount from step 2 to the pressure washer reservoir and top it up to full with cold water and shake it. Interesting, cold water, okay. This is for Touchless. Apply Touchless, and probably for auto foam as well, what they were saying. Apply Touchless to the entire vehicle or panel by panel. Allow it to soak for 1 to 5 minutes, but never fully dry, and pressure wash off. Okay. Please note, it's not necessarily to use all diluted Touchless in one wash. So 1 litre of product should provide 4 to 5 washes. Not for me, it doesn't. It can depend on your system. I go through this stuff, fill out all the arches with it and all that sort of stuff, hurl it on. Apply to 2 cool panels in shaded conditions, or else if your panels are roasting hot and the sun's out, your detergents are going to dry on the panels, and then you can get like the films, dried films of detergent. Do not allow this product to dry in use. Keep the bottle, neck and lid clean. Yeah, you don't want it full of grit and grime and grease. It block up the filter in your lance and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, the lids, they sit in your garage for years. You can get all like the little mould spots and dust, and if you're sawing, you get the idea. So that's how you calculate your PIR. Bilt Hamber say it's very important to get your calculations quite right with this particular product. I use the idiot's way of doing it, and that's only because I've done the proper way of doing it, and I know for my lance 50-50, so 50% product to 50% water gives me a close to a 4% ratio. If I drop that down by half, so I do 250ml product to 750ml water, that 1 to 3 in the lance, then that drops it down to 2% PIR, and I'll use a 2% to 1% in the summer months when I don't have heavy road film. So I hope that's useful on calculating PIR. Some people say, well, it's a lot of product to use. Yes, it is, but concentration is important if you want to shift off road film and degrease rapidly. When you start running products at 1 to 10 in the lance, which typically gives you a PIR of sub 0.8%, something like that, 0.7 to 0.8%, depending on your lance and flow and all that. The products are not as effective generally because you've got 99 units of water, 99.3 units of water, 99.3% units of water to 0.7% of product. So then the difference between all these products becomes less noticeable. So getting that concentration, that PIR up, is another reason I think why these products are so effective. And Bilt Hamber do that because they develop this system themselves for a function, and that function is to clean. And that's what they found works. So I like that, you know, they go their own way, if you like, on all of this sort of PIR and ratio. So that's it. Are there any other tips to snow foaming and stuff like that? Some of you guys say, John, you don't know what you're doing because you snow foam from the top to the bottom. So yeah, if you want to snow foam from the bottom to the top, be my guest. But I'm telling you now, it doesn't make that much difference. There's another subject that's a big drama about whether or not you should pressure wash the car first with water and then put your snow foam on. I like to put my pre-wash on to a dry car because if you've got a film of water on there, that can knock the dilution down by half, and it makes probably less of an issue, but I feel it makes the product more runny and just comes off the car. I like it to go on dry. The exception to that is maybe if you've got loads of mud around the wheels, you could, in the lower areas, you could give that a little blast off. Again, it's not that important, but it seems to be very important to some people, as with all these car things, but I like to put my pre-wash on dry. I find I get a better cleaning if I do that. So is there anything else? The only other thing we've covered on pre-washing is that it's critically important, and most people understand that, but not everyone does, and I get people on here saying I use snow foams and they don't do anything, it's all for show and they're pointless. Well, maybe you're using the wrong snow foam. Let's end this section on that bombshell. Okay, one other thing, tip cleaning, alloy wheels, summertime. I would not put your pre-wash down and try and clean your alloy wheels because the pre-wash will dry before you've done your first alloy wheel. In the winter, you can get away with that technique a little bit more. So what I would do is you could put your pre-wash, the Touchless, in all 4 wheel arches and wheels, and then go back and blast them out. And then clean each alloy wheel one at a time and do those first. That makes sense most of the time unless it's really cold. Now, you can put some Surfex HD in a wash bucket, in your wheel bucket, and fill that up with water. And then you can have your Surfex HD at 1 to 10 that you can spray over the alloy if you want. And you could even have a bucket of clean water just to clean off all the dirt slurry that you're going to pick up. Now, we've done alloy wheel cleaning videos. You'll go in, do your barrels, you do your arches or whatever, you scrub the tyres, get it all clean. At that point, you could then use the Auto Wheels bleeding fallout remover that will go in and it will work on the little bits of brake dust that are stuck, you know, and you haven't removed with cleaning Surfex HD, which makes a lot of sense. And then you can save a bit of money that way, and you can use this once every 3 months or something just to keep on top of that embedded fallout contamination. Because that's what this product does. It removes or helps dislodge iron fallout contamination from your brake discs and brake pads, which is all in the barrels of the wheel and all around those lower areas. However, if you're detailing professionally and a car turns up and you look at the alloy wheels and they're hammered, they've not been cleaned for like 5 years, what you can do, even though it might not be the most efficient thing, is you can cover the alloy wheels in this product and let it all turn purple. You can even mash it all up with your brushes and agitate it if you want, or let it all turn purple and just spray all the Surfex over the top of it and just create this thick slurry of product. You should always pressure wash it off first to get all that loose stuff off, and then just get stuck in on neglected alloy wheels where you know the finish isn't going to be great underneath all that anyway. Sometimes, you know, the detailing principles go out the window, but the key thing to take away is that Auto Wheels is a very powerful wheel cleaner in my opinion, and I love using it instead of strong acids on alloys that are really, really dirty as well. But if you're regular maintaining your alloys, then do it with Surfex HD because that costs pennies, and then just use tiny amounts of this to get your money's worth. Can you knock down Auto Wheels? Yes, you can. I've used it at 50-50. I wouldn't perhaps go much beyond that. Can you use Auto Wheels to decontaminate fallout out of your paintwork? You can, but the strong detergents in it make it more suitable as a wheel cleaner, and their Corosol is more of a paintwork decontamination tool. If you don't want 2 fallout removers, then I would suggest that you have the Surfex HD and Corosol, and then you clean your wheels with the Surfex and use the Corosol as a dedicated fallout remover and what's left. But if you want a powerful fallout remover / wheel cleaner, then go with the Auto Wheel. So I hope that clears it up. There's one other product that should be in this wash category, even though it's not a detergent, and that's, you use it when you're washing the car typically, and that is the Atom Mac. Now, I did a review on this about 2 years ago, and I've still got some product left. It's an extreme concentrate, so you mix it down to use it 1 to 2% in water on motorcycles and bicycles, and 5% on cars with brake discs. So 5% PIR for this product. So you can mix up a litre of it with about 950 ml of water and 50 ml of product. That's 5%, isn't it? I think so. Forgive me if I'm wrong. that litre of product, you can wash the car, and after you've rinsed off all that water, you could spray the Atom Mac all over the rotors, as they say in the uncivilised world, or the brake discs, as we say in the civilised world, to stop all that nasty corrosion forming on brake discs that you can get. And fallout removers do, in my opinion, promote corrosion. I try and keep them away from the rotors. But the Atom Mac will inhibit that corrosion. You spray it on and the corrosion inhibitors will transfer into the ferrous components and inhibit that corrosion, and you can wipe off any excess overspray that you get on the alloys with a microfiber cloth. Whenever I do an undercarriage clean of my car, and I did it not so long ago on the E36, I spray this. I think I put it in a pump sprayer or another trigger sprayer, and after I'd rinsed off all of the detergent and the Touchless, I then spray this on the underside so that it just transfers that corrosion inhibitor into the ferrous components. It's not a rust treatment system. Bilt Hamber are the kings of all of that. That's how they got started, converting rust into other things. You know, it's not that. It's an inhibitor. You can use it every sort of wash. It's a water-based product, and it should just help things that would normally corrode during the wash process not corrode, mainly rotors. Right, I think that is all of the products covered. One final note, another reason why I use these Bilt Hamber products so much, beyond the value for money and the power proposition, is that they are all biodegradable. So they're chemicals which go inert and break down outside, similar to lots of materials that we use inside for washing our skin and stuff like that. Excuse me, biodegradable chemicals, very important. And it's the absence of the caustic materials as well. So Bilt Hamber avoid using phosphates, you know, strong acids and stuff like that. Sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, phosphoric acid, hydrochloric acid, all these things that can instantly promote corrosion and caustic and can damage your skin, you know, you have to really handle carefully. So they're relatively safe products, but they are powerful products as well. It's a balancing act, but mainly it's done through use of clever, environmentally friendly surfactants, and Touchless is a classic example of that, with this new sugar-based product that dissipates the static charge. So that's a theme that runs through the Bilt Hamber products. And finally, guys, a huge thank you once more to Bilt Hamber for sponsoring this video, and I hope you've learnt something about the products, how to use them, how to dose them out, how to get to the most of them, how to calculate the PIR, and some cool little bits of information. The products, the pre-washes, rinse better with cold water. So I didn't know that. That was a bombshell for me. And there's a few other bombshells in there as well that I find quite interesting. Let me know your thoughts of all of this in the comments, and let me know if this video has been useful. And like I say, this is covering the wash base. I want to cover the decontamination base, the polishing base, and the last stage protection base as well. So thanks very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you soon on the Forensics Detailing channel.
Holding on to what I knew, but the moment's gone. Where was I